Let me tell you something. Wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your mind. Most people are chasing money, but money runs from people who chase it. Why? Because money is a magnet and it's attracted to value, not desperation. So if you want to change your income, you must first change your thinking. You don't need a new job, you need a new mindset. You don't need more hours, you need more understanding. You don't need a raise, you need a revelation. Today, I'm going to show you how to install the millionaire mindset, the operating system that governs how the wealthy think, act, and create value. Belief is the birthplace of all achievement. Before any building was ever constructed, before any invention was ever made, before any movement ever changed the world, someone believed it was possible. That belief existed long before there was any evidence, long before there were any resources, and long before there were any supporters. Every great success began with a vision that only one person could see. That's the essence of believing before you see. Most people live their lives waiting for proof. They say things like, when the money comes in, I'll start that business. When I have more time, I'll work on my dream. When the right person believes in me, I'll finally go for it. But life doesn't reward those who wait for validation. It rewards those who move in faith. The truth is that if you need to see something before you believe it, you'll always be one step behind the people who create the things you're waiting to see. Belief is the soil in which your future grows. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every result you produce is the fruit of your belief system. You can't live above what you believe. If you believe you're limited, you'll act limited. If you believe you're capable, you'll act capable. And the world will always respond to your level of belief. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you deserve. Faith is not denial of reality, it's domination over reality. It's the ability to look at what is and still hold a picture in your mind of what can be. It's not pretending you're rich when you're broke. It's understanding that your current condition is not your final destination. When you believe before you see, you stop measuring your potential by your circumstances and start measuring your circumstances by your potential. You start to realize that the invisible world of thoughts, beliefs, and imagination is far more powerful than the visible world of things, problems, and limitations. Every invention, every innovation, every empire began in the imagination of someone who refused to be confined by what existed. When Thomas Edison was asked how it felt to fail 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb, he said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. That's belief before sight. It's the unwavering conviction that what you can't yet see is still real. Wealthy thinkers live by this principle. They don't wait for opportunities to appear. They create them. They don't wait for proof. They become the proof. The challenge is that most people have been programmed to doubt before they believe. They were raised in environments where fear was the teacher, scarcity was the curriculum, and average was the graduation prize. They were told not to dream too big, not to risk too much, not to believe too strongly. So they built small dreams inside safe boxes and called that security. But the millionaire mindset understands that belief is the currency that buys possibility. Before money shows up, belief must be deposited. If you can believe something long enough, strong enough, and consistently enough, your subconscious mind will start working to make it true. You'll start to notice opportunities you used to overlook. You'll connect with people you never would have met before. You'll develop skills you didn't even know you needed. That's not magic, it's focus. You consistently believe becomes what you consistently achieve. Belief changes the way you speak. The language of faith is different from the language of fear. When you believe before you see, you stop saying, I can't afford that, and start asking, how can I create the value to produce that? You stop saying, that's impossible, and start asking, what needs to happen for this to become possible? You stop saying, I'm waiting for my big break, and start declaring, I'm preparing for my big breakthrough. Your words begin to align with your vision, and your vision begins to pull your reality into alignment. The truth is that most people don't fail because of lack of skill or lack of opportunity. They fail because of lack of belief. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Doubt is a thief. It sneaks into your mind and convinces you that where you are is all there is. It tells you that what you see is final, that your past predicts your future, that your mistakes define your limits. But belief breaks those chains. Belief says, where I am is just the starting point. Where I'm going is far greater than where I've been. When you believe before you see, you take control of your internal narrative. You stop letting fear narrate your story. You stop waiting for external permission to live your potential. You become the author of your future. You realize that the greatest battles you'll ever fight are not with the economy, not with competitors, not with the system, but with your own thinking. Once your mind expands to believe in what's possible, it can never go back to the size it was before. Faith is the seed of manifestation. Every time you choose to believe, you're planting something in the soil of your future. And like every seed, it doesn't grow overnight. You don't plant a seed today and dig it up tomorrow to see if it's growing. You nurture it, you water it, you protect it from weeds, and you wait in expectation. The same applies to belief. Once you've decided what you believe, you must protect that belief from doubt, negativity, and fear. Because the moment you let doubt in, you start uprooting your own harvest. Believing before you see requires courage. It means you're willing to look foolish for a while. It means you'll take steps others are too afraid to take. It means you'll invest when others hesitate. You'll move when others wait, and you'll trust when others doubt. And while they're waiting for proof, you'll be creating results, because success doesn't come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who believes first and acts accordingly. We've been taught to measure our worth by the number of hours we work, not by the value we create. From childhood, most of us were conditioned to believe that the harder and longer we work, the more we deserve. That sounds noble, but it's a trap. You can work yourself into exhaustion and still stay broke, because money doesn't respond to effort. It responds to value. The world doesn't pay you for your time. It pays you for the transformation your time creates. A person who flips burgers for 8 hours a day might earn minimum wage, while another person who spends 1 hour closing a deal earns more than that in a single minute. It's not because one person is worth more as a human being. It's because one has learned to multiply the value of their contribution. The difference between struggle and abundance is not in how hard you work, but in how highly your work is valued. That's why shifting from a labor mindset to a value mindset is essential if you want to build wealth. The labor mindset says, how much can I get paid for doing this? The value mindset says, how much value can I create so that getting paid becomes inevitable? Labor is limited by hours. Value is limitless when you understand how to multiply it. There are only 24 hours in a day, and no one gets extra. So if you depend only on hours, you'll always have a ceiling. But when you focus on value, you can create impact and income far beyond your personal capacity. You can build systems, products, and experiences that work even when you don't. The greatest shift happens when you stop trading time for money and start trading solutions for money. People don't pay for your time, they pay for their result. A person doesn't care how many hours you spent crafting a product. They care that it solved their problem, saved their time, increased their income, or made their life easier. The moment you realize that you stop selling effort and start selling outcomes, the market doesn't care about your struggle, it rewards your solution. If you want to install the millionaire mindset, you must train your mind to see opportunity through the lens of value creation. When you look at a problem, don't complain about it, ask how you can monetize it. Every major fortune in history was built by solving a problem people were willing to pay for. The wealthiest people aren't those who work the hardest, they're those who solve the hardest problems. That's why the key to multiplying your income is multiplying your impact. The value mindset begins with understanding who you serve and how you serve them. You must ask yourself, what do people need that I can provide better, faster, or deeper than anyone else? That question shifts your focus from your lack to your leverage. It forces you to think creatively instead of traditionally. The employee mindset asks for more hours or a raise. The entrepreneur mindset asks how to create more value so that the marketplace naturally increases the reward. When you focus on value, you stop competing and start creating. Competition happens when everyone offers the same thing. Creation happens when you elevate the experience, the outcome, or the transformation. That's why some people can charge 10 times more for the same product. It's not about the thing itself. It's about the value it represents in the eyes of the buyer. The perception of value determines the price. That's why your first job as a creator, a business owner, or a leader is to increase the perceived and actual value of what you offer. The challenge is that most people don't recognize their value because they measure it by the wrong metrics. They look at effort instead of effect. They think that sweating more means earning more. But value is not about struggle, it's about significance. The world doesn't pay for pain, it pays for progress. So instead of saying, I worked so hard on this, start saying, I helped someone change because of this. That shift from self to service is where wealth begins. You increase your value by increasing your wisdom. Knowledge is the fuel of value creation. The more you learn, the more valuable your insights become. Every skill, every book, every experience becomes part of your arsenal. When you combine what you know with what others need, you create wealth. So invest more in your growth than in your comfort. The poor spend to escape reality. The wealthy spend to expand capacity. Every new skill you master, every new mindset you adopt, every new relationship you build expands your value base. Think of value like a magnet. When you increase your value, money starts to find you. Opportunities start to chase you. People start to refer you. Why? Because the marketplace is designed to reward solutions. It's constantly looking for people who can make life easier, faster, better, or more enjoyable for others. If you become that person, you'll never have to beg for opportunity again. Your results will speak louder than your requests. When you focus on value, you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. You stop asking for what you can earn and start deciding what you can create. Ownership thinking forces you to take responsibility for results, not just activity. It forces you to ask, if I were paying for this, would I find it valuable? If the answer is no, then it's time to level up the quality of what you offer. Mediocrity is the enemy of value. Excellence attracts abundance. Value creation also involves innovation. You can't keep doing what everyone else is doing and expect extraordinary rewards. The value mindset is about curiosity and creativity. It's about constantly asking, how can I make this more meaningful? How can I make this more efficient? How can I make this more desirable? The moment you stop improving, your value begins to depreciate. But when you keep innovating, your worth in the marketplace multiplies exponentially. Ultimately, shifting from labor to value is an inner transformation before it's an external one. You have to stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a creator. You must stop seeing yourself as someone who earns money and start seeing yourself as someone who creates money through service, wisdom, and impact. Money is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the level of value you represent. When you understand that, you stop waiting for a raise and start becoming the reason for one. Leverage is the secret language of wealth. It is the art of multiplying impact without multiplying effort. Most people are stuck in a cycle of doing everything themselves, believing that control equals success, but control without leverage is just disguised exhaustion. You can't build an empire with your own two hands alone. You need systems, you need people, you need processes that amplify what you do so that your reach and results grow beyond your individual capacity. Leverage is not laziness. It's intelligence applied to productivity. The average person has been programmed to think that hard work is the key to success. They equate business with progress and effort with achievement. But the truth is that hard work alone can only take you so far because your time and energy are limited. The wealthy understand that while effort is important, multiplication is essential. They don't just ask, how can I work harder? They ask, how can I make my work go further? They look for ways to get exponential results from linear effort. That's what leverage does. It turns a single action into a ripple effect of outcomes. There are many forms of leverage, and each one is a force multiplier. The first is people leverage, learning how to empower others to extend your impact. Most people fear delegation because they think no one else can do it as well as they can. That mindset keeps them trapped in smallness. The truth is, you will never grow if you insist on being the only person who can do what you do. Leverage requires trust, training, and release. It's about equipping others to execute with excellence so that you can focus on higher level creation. Every great leader multiplies themselves through other people. They build teams, not just task lists. The second form of leverage is systems leverage. Systems are the invisible engines that run success. They allow you to produce consistent results without constant supervision. A system is simply a repeatable process that saves time, reduces mistakes, and increases output. The reason most people stay stuck in chaos is because they run their lives by memory, not by method. The wealthy understand that systems create freedom. Whether it's automation in business, routines in productivity, or frameworks in communication, systems transform effort into efficiency. Another powerful form of leverage is knowledge leverage. When you learn something valuable, that wisdom continues to work for you forever. The poor see learning as an event, the wealthy see it as an investment. Every book you read, every mentor you learn from, every mistake you study becomes leverage for the next decision you make. Wisdom shortens the distance between where you are and where you want to go. It's the ability to use someone else's decades of experience in a few days of learning. That's the fastest leverage you'll ever find. Then there's money leverage. Most people use money only as a tool for spending, but the wealthy use money as a tool for multiplying. They understand that dollars can be employees if you know how to assign them properly. Money sitting idle loses value, but money invested in the right opportunities gains momentum. Whether it's through investments, partnerships, or scalable ventures, money leverage allows wealth to grow while you sleep. But that kind of leverage requires discipline, education, and a long-term mindset. Leverage also operates on a spiritual level. It's the understanding that you were never meant to carry everything on your own shoulders. There is power in partnership, collaboration, and divine alignment. When you align your purpose with something greater than yourself, you tap into a level of favor and flow that human effort alone cannot produce. That's leverage at the highest level, when unseen forces start working on your behalf because your vision serves a higher purpose. The reason most people resist leverage is pride and fear. Pride says, I can do it better myself. Fear says, what if they mess it up? Both keep you trapped in limitation. Leverage requires humility to admit that you need help and courage to let go of control. You have to shift from doing everything for people to doing things through people. That's how you build something that outlives you. Legacy doesn't come from your effort. It comes from your ability to multiply effort through others. Leverage also changes your relationship with time. The average person spends time, the wealthy invest it. When you leverage, you make time work for you instead of against you. You begin to operate in exponential terms. One action produces 10 results instead of one. One conversation creates multiple opportunities instead of just information. One idea becomes a system, a course, a business, a movement. That's the compounding power of leverage. It takes something small and turns it into something significant. To leverage effectively, you must learn to identify what only you can do and delegate or automate the rest. You are the bottleneck of your success when you insist on holding everything. Focus your time on activities that multiply results, not maintain them. If it doesn't grow your vision, delegate it. If it doesn't require your creativity, systemize it. If it doesn't align with your purpose, eliminate it. That's not arrogance, that's stewardship. You have a limited amount of time and energy. Leverage ensures you use it wisely. Leverage demands perspective. You must stop seeing yourself as a worker and start seeing yourself as a builder. Workers think in terms of tasks. Builders think in terms of structures. Workers finish something and move on to the next. Builders create systems that keep working long after they've moved on. Leverage is how you escape the endless treadmill of effort and step into the freedom of expansion. It's how you move from addition to multiplication, from busy to productive, from striving to scaling. Every person who has ever created lasting wealth has mastered the principle of leverage. They understand that you don't need to do everything. You just need to make sure everything gets done. They build teams that complement their weaknesses, systems that extend their reach, and strategies that keep working in the background. Leverage is the bridge between potential and power. It's what transforms a good idea into a growing enterprise and a single person's effort in a generational legacy. Purpose is the foundation of sustainable wealth. It is the reason behind the results, the mission behind the money, and the heartbeat behind every successful endeavor that lasts. Too many people chase profit without understanding that profit without purpose leads to emptiness. You can make millions and still feel bankrupt inside if your money isn't attached to meaning. True wealth isn't measured by how much you have, but by how deeply what you have serves others. Purpose gives your prosperity direction. It gives your labor legacy. When your money serves a mission, you never run out of motivation. Most people start their journey with a survival mindset. They work to pay bills, they chase income to escape pressure, and they dream of a day when they can finally rest from the grind. But survival is not the goal, it's the starting point. The wealthy understand that money is just a resource, not the reason. It's a tool designed to amplify purpose. When your purpose is clear, money becomes magnetized to it. Profit becomes a servant that funds your calling instead of a master that controls your decisions. That's the shift from hustling for money to aligning with mission. Purpose transforms how you see business, work, and service. Instead of asking, how much can I make? You begin asking, how much impact can I create? That single shift opens doors you didn't even know existed. People are drawn to purpose-driven individuals because authenticity has a frequency. When you operate from purpose, you stand out in a world full of pretenders. You no longer compete, you compel. You no longer chase, you attract. The energy of intention draws resources, relationships, and results toward you. That's why the wealthiest people often speak in terms of vision, not money. They understand that money is simply energy flowing in the direction of purpose. The problem with chasing profit is that profit alone is never enough. Once you reach a financial goal, the excitement fades. You buy the car, take the trip, upgrade the house, and still feel the same inside. That's because accumulation without alignment is empty. But when your money is tied to something meaningful, something that improves lives, empowers others, or advances a cause greater than yourself, you experience fulfillment. The joy of giving, serving, and contributing creates an inner wealth that no number in a bank account can match. Purpose also sustains you through challenges. Every vision faces resistance. Every dream demands endurance. If your only motivation is money, you'll quit when it gets hard. But if your motivation is purpose, you'll push through every obstacle because the mission matters more than the moment. Purpose gives you staying power. It reminds you why you started when results take longer than expected. It keeps your focus sharp when distractions scream for your attention. It anchors you when emotions waver. That's why people with purpose don't burn out, they burn bright. When you attach purpose to profit, you stop operating from scarcity and start operating from abundance. Scarcity asks, what can I get? Abundance asks, what can I give? The more you give, the more space you create to receive. The marketplace rewards contribution, not consumption. The people who create the most value, serve the most people, and solve the most problems are always the ones who prosper. That's not luck, it's a universal law. Giving activates growth. Service multiplies success. Purpose turns profit into progress. Purpose also defines priorities. When you know what you're called to do, you stop wasting time on what doesn't align. You stop saying yes to everything and start saying yes to what truly matters. Focus is born from purpose. Every opportunity is not your opportunity. Every dollar is not good money. Some deals distract, some partnerships drain, and some profits pull you away from your calling. But when your compass is purpose, you can discern what to accept and what to avoid. You stop chasing every dollar because you realize that not all money is aligned money. Purpose attracts the right people. Like-minded individuals gravitate toward those who operate with conviction. Investors, clients, and collaborators want to align with leaders who stand for something beyond themselves. Purpose gives your brand identity, your work credibility, and your leadership authority. It communicates clarity in a noisy world. People don't just buy what you sell, they buy why you sell it. They buy into your story, your mission, and your reason. When you live from purpose, your message becomes magnetic and your influence multiplies. The truth is that money is neutral. It amplifies whoever holds it. If you are selfish, money will magnify your selfishness. If you're generous, money will magnify your generosity. That's why purpose must precede profit. Without purpose, prosperity becomes poison. But with purpose, prosperity becomes power. Power to build, to bless, to break limitations, and to bring light where there was lack. Purpose turns financial success into a tool for transformation. Purpose-driven wealth also creates legacy. The goal is not just to make money during your lifetime, but to create impact that outlives you. Money can be spent, but purpose multiplies across generations. When you live and lead from purpose, you plant seeds that continue to grow even after you're gone. You build organizations, systems, and structures that empower others to continue your mission. You turn your income into influence and your influence into inheritance. Operating from purpose doesn't mean ignoring profit. It means understanding its role. Profit is the reward for service rendered, but purpose is the reason that service exists. The two are not enemies, they are partners. When you align them, you experience both prosperity and peace. You wake up with enthusiasm instead of exhaustion. You work from inspiration instead of obligation. You stop counting hours and start counting impact. That is the essence of true success. Profit fueled by purpose, wealth infused with wisdom, and prosperity that produces progress for everyone it touches. So today, I'm not asking you to work harder. I'm asking you to think higher. Because wealth doesn't begin with what's in your head. It begins with what's in your head. If you want to install the millionaire mindset, start by upgrading your thoughts. Start believing before you see value over labor, leverage over effort, and purpose over profit. You are one decision away from a different destiny. So go ahead, install the millionaire mindset, and watch the world start responding to the new version of you.